welcome to the Magic of Boots 82nd episode. We're going to cover Arsenal versus Spurs preview. Am I right, Jutta?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for it.
So, yeah, of course. We talked about Arsenal a lot, I guess, like two or three
Yeah,
matches already. I want to start with Spurs, how they are playing currently, and which is a little bit exciting. Also for Spurs fan, I guess. Um, yes. So far, what we have seen, like Postecoglou is an interesting character. He sort of play from the back, but his midfielders and like wing backs position are a little bit different than others. But I don't, yeah. But what he does actually, which is quite similar to um, well, other managers like Pep Guardiola, Arteta was doing, but a little bit differently. He has a lot of like right now, tactic wise, he has a lot of similarities with um, I guess our Aston Villa coach, Unai Emery. But as we know that like Unai Emery try to build the play from the back, and also like the center backs played a little bit wide, and also like their full backs a little bit wide. And what he does, he try to create like a triangles in the fullback position, and then try to move forward in the build-up phases. Um, yeah, sometimes like wingers dropped, midfielders go a little bit sideways, and then try to create like a this sort of thing. But Postecoglou, what he does, he actually creates sort of like a yeah, this sort of shape. Um, his fullbacks are tucked in the midfield to create sort of like a how can I say extra man in the half spaces, and one of the defenders, normally Bissouma, dropped in, and whenever he's getting the ball from Romero or Van de Ven or someone else, then what he does, he do a little bit like Busquets like feint and move away from the pressure if you are pressuring him, and try to play a little bit uh, play forward. And another thing is about postal gluing fullbacks is that like they sort of move like a move through the half spaces, but also they interchange positions with the um, winger, sometimes in this side and sometimes on the other side. So they sometimes they give it width, but sometimes like they are also like in the attacking position in the um, like yeah, as a winger or something like. Then the other guys like the wingers normally give the width, and they yeah, in the final stage of the game. So we can see like they are running behind like center backs and full backs in between, and sometimes they end up in this sort of position and make cutbacks or take shoots. Or sometimes they're like it's sort of like a little bit like Luis Enrique's Barcelona, like who's depends on who is rotating and who is in which position, and they try to create sort of like a triangle to ease the pressure. Yeah, in the build-up phase, what they do actually, another interesting thing they do. Sometimes, like James Madison, he has a tendency to drop. Yeah, he has a tendency to drop if the teams are like playing too much pressure, um, and match up man by man. And we have seen a lot of like most of the teams in Premier League right now trying to win the ball back in the final third or this sort of position. So like they go for like sorry, three or four or five or players in front, and like uh, um, like I mentioned, they use a body feint a lot and to ease the pressure, and then there are like a lot abundance of space to run behind for Kulusevski or Son or Solomon or who were playing. Another thing is that like when the fullbacks actually so far what you've seen like are sort of like a they are sort of like a satellite midfielder or something like that because they run like we have seen fullbacks run from these full spaces, but they sometimes run from the half spaces to half spaces
Mm.
and try to make sure they can retain the ball in the final third and continue the attack or something like that. And Bissouma was doing quite well. Another thing is about his fullbacks are like Poro, especially Poro and Madison. Sometimes like as we know that like Son has a tendency to go and run behind if the defensive line is up. So sometimes they make those long balls towards Sean. Like for example, I think in Burnley game, the Poro actually made this pass from here to towards like beyond the line, and Son received it there, and then he has like 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and you don't have chances. So yeah, that's another thing. So so far, yeah, now we can actually show you some sort of statistics. Can you see it? So this is Arsenal and the Spurs passing details. So what I have just mentioned that like James Madison sometimes dropped down and he made those long balls and which is like pretty much accurate. Also, I mentioned like Pedro Porro. He made those long balls as well, like almost 2.3 successful long balls. And also like Christian Romero sometimes like dings the ball in front and try to win the second ball or sometimes like try make how can I say Son run into the open space and try to score or something like that. And their goalkeeper as well, like he is playing like 3.8 long balls. Although his passing accuracy is not that great. Yeah, that's what we have seen and what we can expect from this Spurs team. So yeah, but for Udogi, he's an interesting character actually. He's basically can take on players, like he can take on wingers and full like central midfielders and go and move forward and open the spaces, especially if teams are pressing. Sometimes, most of the time, some like they are in their attack, they are ended up sort of like a 4v4 or 5v5 situations because they can ease the pressure and cut the team in half. So that's another problems for Arsenal because yeah, as you can see, Arsenal so far conceded like 4 goals in the season, and 50% or so of them are coming from uh, counter attacks. And that's also a strength for Arsenal because, like, as we know, like Mikel Arteta try to build up from the back and try to create a lot of, how can I say, uh, uh, positions. He's try to like engage those like attacking players like Vieira or Odegaard or if Havertz are playing in this position. Um, yeah, he tried to make these players active in this sort of like half spaces and in front of the goal because they are more dangerous. Martinelli is injured. We are not sure he is going to if he's going to play, and it would be an interesting game to see like Saka versus Udogi.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for Trossard, he can do pretty much everything in the top six position that he can play. Um, and Arsenal's are Arsenal sometimes Arsenal's one of the best weapon is their wingers. Um, so it would be an interesting prospect. Also, when you are in the open play, yeah, Pars considered so far 5 goals, and 3 of them are coming from open play. Also, I saw some set pieces routines, and they're not actually how can I say, not good in defending set pieces. Also, because defensive routines are like pretty much same. They try to struct up in the front post, and in the back post there are some dangerous thing. And also, I think they consider a goal from throw in or something like that, like a long throw. So yeah, that would be an interesting game because Arsenal has the weakness in counter attacks and Spurs has the weakness in the open play. So both teams actually strengths is the opposite. So like they can hurt each other a lot. So and another thing is that as you can see, Arsenal is for long balls. Like Arsenal, Ben White can play. Ben White actually was playing those line breaking passes. Saliba as well, like 3.2 is impressive. And Arsenal is playing a lot of long balls in this season. And that could be another thing. Like they like normally teams are a little bit deeper than the last season from against Arsenal. So they were trying to find out sort of like a different sort of profile, and that's why I think Havertz may start. I'm not sure. Like Jesus is now currently in like a really good form. Vieira as well. So I'm not sure who is going to sit on the bench, but one of these players are going to sit, and or maybe two, both of them will play because I don't think Ramsdale is going to play. I think we will show David Raya, and we'll get back to it a little bit later. But what I wanted to show a little bit like passing types. Both teams are like building from the short passes. They it has a, how can I say, really good effective passes, short passing. They are also like a little bit not that good in long balls, but compared, like most of the passes are coming from short. They don't need that. But interesting fact is like through ball uh, passes. Uh, um, as you can see, Arsenal is basically I mean, here it shows like zero through ball, but in effective. But they can actually like players like Odegaard if teams are because most of the times Arsenal played against teams who are dropping deep, and they had to find the different ways, and also like they are really good and set pieces recently. That's another issue. And pass against actually both of the team actually suffered a little bit whenever other teams are playing a little bit long ball. So that's why I think like Havertz can play. Also, as you can see, uh, like Spurs seems to a little bit vulnerable, although they don't did not play against a team like 4 or 5 of them can play really good through balls, but we can see a lot of through balls actually in the half spaces and a lot of running so far in the running behind from the half spaces from the both of the teams actually. Um, yeah. So far, Yeah, and I've mentioned David Raya because this is from his Champions League debut for Arsenal, and his passing accuracy is 82%, although he's made all those long balls towards the wings, as you can see, or someone is receiving ball here in the mid position, and his distance, passing distance, was like that means like if a goalkeeper pass from one player to another and the distance were adding up, which is like the highest in the Champions League first tier. So this would be an interesting game. I think they will play David Raya, and they will sort of like try to go on direct attack both of the team, and which is supposed to make this team make this game a little bit transitional, but I think it will be sort of like a retransitional or something like that. So yeah, that's so far my take on it.
Yep. Seems great. Personally, I think it definitely there will be a lot of tension with this game.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
but I think this one can be really open.
Yeah, it would be. It could be because both of the team has a tendency to deep high, but Tottenham a little bit, for example, managing the
Mm.
situation like this season, Arsenal is a little bit better. So yeah, that's one thing, and another thing is that like if Arsenal do the counter, like stop the counters, or I'm not sure about like how they will press. But so far, I am guessing Arsenal will sort of like create like a little bit, yeah, this sort of blocks in the bidding and
Hmm.
midfield, and try to win the ball in this sort of zone a little bit lower than the expected. And but so yeah, let's see.
No, I agree. Just looking forward to the game. Yeah, don't have much to add on that. Anything to add?
Not really, but yeah, like it is interesting to see like how to use the fullbacks in the half spaces. Normally, so far what we have seen, like Man City did, I think
With
Brighton did
Cancelo.
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and normally they try to like roam around this area to win the ball in this sort of zones. But for Postacoglu's fullbacks, they just go through and through sometimes, and they sort of create like a triangles in all sort of in all over the field. So it would be hard to press against them, and so I'm not sure what Arteta will do, but it would be interesting.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. I guess if we don't have anything else to add, I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Thank you for preparing for this, and we'll catch the game, and hopefully we'll catch some more games. And if we find something interesting, we'll instead try to cover it as well.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for watching. Whoever is watching, please let us know that how you're enjoying or what kind of things you want to see. As always, we're flexible.
yeah.
Well, thank you again.